Welcome to the Sisters of the Shire podcast, episode uno.
We should learn the Elvish words for numbers, and then that's the episode numbers.
Oh yeah, I was going to say Tolkien might not approve of my Spanish speaking here.
He loved languages.
He did love Norse.
I'm Abby.
I'm Ashley. So we are starting off with the Silmarillion. For informational purposes, I'm using the second edition. It's got what I think is Fëanor on the cover, and he's holding these 3 glowing gems. So that's the book that I'm basing this off of. Different versions are out there that might have a different flow or different wording of things, but that's the version that I'm going off of.
All right.
My wording and pronunciation of these words, because man, he did not make it easy. I might change as we go through, but I will try my best to be consistent.
It was a big practical joke, and he was up there listening struggle, and he's like,
he is laughing at me. I know it.
My legacy.
The first section is called the Ainulindale.
Already off the bat.
Off the bat. I literally had to phonetically write that for myself. I like to refer to it as like the Genesis section. So this is going to talk about the creation and the beginning of everything.
Cool.
First off, we are introduced to Eru, but he also goes by Iluvatar. He is basically God, and he makes the Ainur. Again, these names could not flow off the tongue any better.
Bill.
So
Carl.
That would have been so much easier. So he makes these beings called the Ainur from his thoughts. Them, and then all of a sudden they're beings.
Like consciousnesses?
Sure, yes, I like that. Yes, let's go with that.
All right.
The first thing he does is he teaches them to sing. On a side note, I found really interesting. Not many people use song in their creation myths. And I wondered, this is just my own thoughts, is Tolkien's wife actually was really into music. She was on the route to become like a professional pianist. I don't like the other word, so I say pianist.
This is a family show.
So I wonder if like her kind of influences kind of caused that thought.
He was super into languages, and I feel like he did a lot of research on like how civilizations became.
Yes, he loved like mythologies.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Lots of civilizations, before there was a ton of written word or books or anything like that, how they passed down things was through song. True. A way to memorize certain stories or legends, or
maybe that's how we should remember the characters' names then. We'll have to create our own song.
And I feel like he kind of, maybe that's what he was thinking. Like maybe he was like, this is, a beautiful way to preserve the history of things. That's just me. Like,
no,
if I was how he would be thinking, I think that's kind of maybe what played into it, of these civilizations have these songs that were passed down because it's easy for the brain to remember a song than it is to like recite, a script
story
or whatever.
So yes and no. I'm just going to keep going because the way he uses song is very different than what you're talking about.
Does he rap?
He raps. They have a rap battle later, actually. He teaches his creations, the Ainur, to sing. First teaches them solos and then duets, and then they start to harmonize together. But they're mainly copying what Iluvatar does. They aren't making things up on their own yet. They're just basically mimicking what he's doing. Then Iluvatar shows them what he refers to as a theme. I don't like this term. I don't know why he refers to it as a theme. It's kind of vague. He shows them like a finished song. That's what I'm calling it in my brain. But this is known as the first theme. So that's important for later. So
Okay.
he shows them this theme or song, and Ainur are just like mind blown. They're like, oh, that's what a song sounds like. And then he tells them later, okay, so this is how you create a song. Now I want you to create a song together, but with your own ideas. But you have to follow this theme.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of vague. And apparently they can come up with their own ideas now because when he created them, he quote unquote kindled them with what he calls the flame imperishable. Weird term in my brain.
I started this, I was like, I maybe might have an idea of where this is going to go, but
no. Yeah.
Don't know.
Just you wait, and
Everything's going left field.
Yeah.
What's happening?
So he kindled them with the flame imperishable. So in my brain, they don't have the full flame imperishable. That's with him. He just basically started a little fire.
He handed out sparklers.
Yes.
From his internal
Roman candle. But the flame imperishable is basically the power of creativity. That is what I have labeled it in my brain. Okay. So they can come up with their own songs and ideas because they now have this power of creativity.
Cool.
So together, the Ainur made an amazing song. And it went out into what he calls the void. So I think of like space. Like it just went out like a shock wave. Yeah, just went zoom.
Like a solar flare.
Yes. So that it was no longer a void because now it has this song in it.
Oh.
So Iluvatar is just...
I'm sorry. Every time you say that, I
Avatar.
think Louis Vuitton in my... Anyway, keep going.
Okay. So he's just sitting there listening to this music for a while. And everyone's singing and doing, like their little song.
Is there an infinite number or is there a number of these?
They don't actually give you a number.
Okay.
So then we meet the infamous Melkor.
Oh.
You might have heard of him.
I'm assuming he's not great.
He's not great. He's kind of the worst. So Melkor, he's singing with everyone, but then he's like, you know what? I want everyone to hear how awesome I am because I am the awesomest. And he starts making music not according to the theme. So, yeah, how dare he? So every time I read this, I had a vision of, that guy that was going to like random places and playing his saxophone, like do. Like,
yes,
that is literally what I imagined happening. I've also seen
how do you say his name? Melkor.
Yes. I've also seen people make memes of in the like Simpsons like intro when the band's playing and then all of a sudden Lisa just goes off on her own like do. That is Melkor.
He has sunglasses.
Yes.
Basically, you have pictured him twice with a saxophone, so that's what we're going to go with.
Saxophone Melkor. Yes. Apparently, Melkor was given the greatest gifts of power and knowledge out of the others.
Why?
Plus, he had a share of everyone else's gifts too.
That seems unfair, but okay.
Right? He's all smart and hoity-toity, and he's got a saxophone and his sunglasses. And he starts going out into the void. He just starts hanging out there because he wants to find the flame imperishable.
So are they in the void? Or are they like on their own like planet or?
I think the void is like next door.
Oh.
Maybe this would be a better example. So like there's a town and it's like surrounded by like a forest.
Okay.
Or a desert of nothing. So he doesn't want to hang out in the town with everyone. He wants to go out and find this imperishable flame.
All right.
Because he wants to create things on his own. Like he really, really wants to do his own thing because he feels like Iluvatar isn't taking advantage of the empty space. It's like, why is this all empty? We should be filling it with fun crap. Not doing it right, Iluvatar. So anyways, Melkor was spending so much time by himself in the void that he just like started getting his own ideas and starts kind of getting weird.
Well, as one would if you spend time in the void.
Right. Spend too much time by yourself, you get weird.
Yes.
Yes. We all know that kid. Melkor's ideas start getting into his music. And so when they're all singing together, his music is just getting more and more off from everyone else. And immediately conflict is just breaking out. Some of the Ainur just stop singing and they're like, what are you doing? But some of the Ainur actually change their singing to match Melkor's, which I find interesting.
Huh.
They just keep singing, but it's becoming this battle of songs.
A literal battle of the bands.
A literal battle of the bands, yeah. So Iluvatar just actually keeps listening to this battle. Although it was described as, quote, a raging storm as of dark waters that made war one upon another in an endless wrath that would not be assuaged. Like, that doesn't sound pleasant to listen to.
Oh my gosh, I love this track. Hold on. Oh, yeah. That is
my favorite part. Let me turn it up.
Hold on. It's going to get good. It's going to get good. The beat's going to drop. Hold on.
Yep. So then Iluvatar, after a while, he stands up and he just smiles, lifts up his left hand. I don't know why they specify that. Left hand. And then another theme starts, known as the second theme. And this theme was similar to the first theme, but slightly different.
Okay.
You know, I wish they were more specific about this song. So, like, is it the words that are changing? Are we going, like, in a different key now? Are we, like, going folksy to, like, a bit more hard rock? Like, I want to know more about this song.
Okay.
So, the second theme starts, but then Melkor just gets louder. Everything got so loud that more of the Ainur just stopped singing entirely. Like, F this, you know, like Melkor just keeps messing things up until it's described that Melkor had the mastery, aka Melkor won that round.
Oh.
Then Iluvatar stood up again, but he wasn't smiling this time. He looked, quote unquote, stern.
So this guy is supposed to be like the father of them, basically, right?
Yes.
Like, so couldn't he like stop him?
You would
whatever?
think so. But they have their own creativity now. They have the kindling. They have the sparkler of creativity.
Okay.
Iluvatar looks stern and lifts up his right hand now. And a third theme begins. Okay. And then it gets a little funny in the way that they describe it. One theme, I'm assuming this is Iluvatar's. It doesn't specify, but I'm assuming it was Iluvatar's. Was described as deep, wide, beautiful, slow, and sorrowful.
Oh, Enya.
Enya-like. I like that. Let's go with the Enya theme here. Then the other theme, I'm assuming Melkor's, was described as loud, vain, repetitive. It had little harmony, but rather a clamorous unison as of many trumpets bring upon a few notes. And it essayed, or tried, to drown the other music by the violence of its voice.
Huh. So like there was a marching band of toddlers.
Yes. I like that. Toddler with a kazoo, just going crazy. Iluvatar stands up again. He's not smiling. He's not stern, but his face was terrible to behold. He raised up both hands, and in one chord, deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, piercing as the light of Iluvatar, the music ceased. So you're right. He could stop the songs.
You ruined it.
Yeah. Silence! I I do want to say here as a side note, it's hard to distinguish exactly what he is, Iluvatar. Like it describes him as having hands and eyes and facial expressions, but it also says in other parts, like the halls of Iluvatar shook. Like, is he a building or a person?
He's a ship.
Then Iluvatar basically says, you know what? You guys are mighty. Melkor, mightiest of all of you. I don't want Melkor to forget, or really any of you to forget that I am the mightiest of all of you. Everything that you guys just sang, I'm going to show you what it looks like. To show you what you have done. And hey, Melkor, I made you. So nothing gets sung that ultimately didn't come from me in some way. And no one can change my music to fight me, like you just tried doing. Anyone that tries is only doing what I manipulated them to do, to make something even more wonderful than they could have done by themselves. So there.
I brought you into this world.
I will take you out. Yes. It's kind of confusing here, and I don't want to get too like religious about it, but he's giving them free will, but then he's also saying like, I knew what you were going to do before you did it.
Yeah. Very omnipotent.
Yes. And basically this rant just scared the crap out of everyone, except Melkor, who should have been more scared. First, he feels shame. Then that leads to what they call a secret anger, which to me sounds like some major, like pre-Darth Vader feelings were brewing. Don't give in to your hate. So after all this went down, Iluvatar loves standing up, stood up in his splendor, and he left the Ainor's realm, and everyone followed him. So they left the little town that they were in.
What if it's like Asgard?
Oh, sure. I like that too. Let's go to a different
realm.
Yeah.
Because like in my brain, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Asgard from the Thor movies, how it's not a complete planet, it's like its own little island thing.
Yes.
And then everything else around it is just like open area.
Yes, I like that. Yes. So they come to the void, this new realm, and Iluvatar goes, ta-da! Behold your music. And everyone looks around and they somehow see their song. No one says anything because they're just like in awe and they're just looking around at everything. And so Iluvatar goes, behold your music. But this time he actually explains what's going on.
Yeah.
Each of them will see their own part that they added to the song made into this vision of the world.
Okay.
And he even mentions to Melkor, like, see all those thoughts that you thought were secret that you were having in your little void, like private club over there? It's all just a part of everything else that is here. So now they understand that each of the songs was about creating this world and their own individual voices added to the making of this world.
So he wanted beautiful songs. So when Melkor started doing his weird off-brand versions, was he making like terrible places?
You would think so. But remember, he knew that was going to happen.
Okay.
So somehow Iluvatar's different themes were like different chapters of the vision of the world. So he's not showing them an actual world. He's just showing them basically like a movie.
Oh.
So the first theme was part like of the movie, the second theme part of the movie. But in the third theme, it shows the creation of the first elves and men, which are back and forth called the children of Iluvatar, or elves and men. I'm going to go back and forth. They went back and forth. Don't blame me. But it's kind of confusing that he called them that because aren't the Ainur the children of Iluvatar too?
Maybe they don't have physical attributes.
True. They do get them later though. We'll get to that. But yeah, I was a little confused when I first read that. I was like, but wait, children, what? How many children do you want, Iluvatar?
It's lonely out in the void.
It's lonely. So the Ainur saw the vision of the elves and men, aka the children of Iluvatar, and they were like immediately in love. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, they're so cute! I want one."
Look at them.
Look at them.
I need a whole collection. I need every one of them.
And then they saw the elves and men coming to the world, and they were super excited. Immediately, were like, "We have to get it ready for them. We have to get everything all ready for their arrival."
Adorable.
Everyone except Melkor, of course. He wanted to go down to the world basically so that he could be called Lord and Master of these new beings and they could be his slaves.
Huh.
Yeah, he immediately went there. So this world, the elves would later call Arda. I sometimes call it Earth just because that's kind of what it is.
Arda.
Arda. A-R-D-A. Arda.
Thing, like now, I feel like that's like a company.
It might be. And the elves kind of mentioned later that they thought that water was by far the greatest creation. So much so that they thought that in the water there lives yet the echo of the music of the Ainur more than in any substance that is in this earth.
Oh.
Which I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like that it was just like kind of sacred to them. Like it held like the first creation. And many of the children of Iluvatar hearken still unsated to the voices of the sea, and yet know not for what they listen. So like they're drawn to the sea, they love water because it has this beginning, if that makes any sense.
Kind of ties into like the gray ships and the very kind of spiritual part of that. Part of the story.
Which I'm surprised that it doesn't play more of a role in the books later. I feel like the whole Arwen scene of the horses in the water taking out the ring wraiths, like that should have happened way more.
They should have used the water to their advantage more.
Yes.
Maybe they lost sight of it after a certain age.
True.
Like you know, when things are so new and you're so in tune with like
the
world, and then when more and more generations happen, you kind of lose that connection with the earth and the...
Sure. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Next is when we meet some of the Ainur. Some of them. And they get their own names and individual powers, elements, strengths. First off, we have Ulmo. Not Elmo. Ulmo. U-L-M-O. Ulmo. Ulmo. And he is like the god of water. He's the Poseidon of...
He is the King Triton.
And apparently he was the best in music, which kind of makes sense that the music of the creation like kind of stuck with the water.
He's the Michael Bublé of the...
Yes. Yes.
He is the Josh Groban.
He is the Josh Groban, for sure. Yes.
Of the Ainur.
So who's Melkor then?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes.
No. Yeah, something like that.
I like it. I like it. So we have Ulmo, water, music. Then we have Manwe, and he is in charge of the airs and winds.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he, I'm sorry, this attribute that they give him, he was the most noble. What does that mean? Is he a gas? Like, airs and winds? Oh my gosh, noble gases. Okay. Nerd of me. Then we have, and this is how I'm pronouncing his name. Guys can fight me. You try pronouncing this name.
Fighter.
Aule.
Aule?
Aule. That's how I'm saying it.
I mean, it sounds cool.
Thank you.
If it's pronounced differently, I would choose yours because it sounds cool.
Right? It's A-U-L-E, and it's got those like dot things above, I think, the E. Aule is what I'm sticking with. And he was known as, quote unquote, the fabric of the earth. Cool. So he can control earth, but fabric of the earth, a weird way to put that. And he was the second wisest after Melkor.
Oh.
Iluvatar totally plays favorites here. I'm sorry, he does. They go into Aule's description more than the other ones. He loves making things. He's like the engineer. But he loves making things not for his own glory or to have things. He's just happy to make things for other people.
Adorable.
Adorable. And then we have who we already met, Melkor. He's like in charge of like temperature extremes. So like he gets ice and heat.
I mean, that can ruin anyone's day, right?
Oh, he ruins people's day with it. Just you wait. Again, why would you make Melkor the mightiest Avenger if you're gonna just like hate on him all the time? Why Iluvatar? Because here's when he starts talking smack about his kids to his other kids. You don't do that as a parent of Iluvatar.
And if you do it in private.
God. Iluvatar talks to Olmo, the water guy, basically saying, Melkor tried to destroy your precious water with his ice and his heat, but look, he did not accomplish anything. The music of the sea, the music of the creation is still there. And now your water can be in like the clouds and the mists.
Trying to convince a toddler, like, it's okay, look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Aw, see, it's totally fine.
It's totally fine. And it brings you closer to your best friend, Monway, who is the guy that's in charge of the air and the wind.
Aw, they're BFFs?
They're BFFs. Oh. Because if you think about like weather, water, and like air and winds are kind of tight. So
adorable.
Olmo, water guy, agrees with Iluvatar, and he was like, my song about water looks even more beautiful than I thought it would be. And thanks to Melkor, I never would have thought of how cool a snowflake could be. Like, I never would have thought of that.
Looking on the bright side of things.
Looking on the bright side. And you know what? Yes, Monway, the air and wind guy, and I are best friends, and we're looking forward to making way more cool stuff, like rain. Like, whoa. Mind blown. So everything that just happened was basically like just shown in like a video or like a vision. And out of nowhere, Iluvatar just turns it off and everything goes black. Unplugs the TV. Like, you thought that was cool? Not anymore. It's gone. And the Ainur are just pissed. They just seen all this cool stuff and these manifestations of their thoughts and their songs, and it's just all gone. And then Iluvatar, he is a showman. He's a born showman. Just goes, you know what? I hear you guys. I know you want this Arda Earth, not only in a vision, but you guys want it to be like made into reality. And then he says, quote, therefore I say, Ea, let these things be.
Ea. Yeehaw.
E-A. I'm going with Ea.
Man, I really wanted to be yeehaw.
Yeehaw! Let these things be. Iluvatar was actually a cowboy.
Yeah.
Give him a cowboy hat. And then he sends down the flame imperishable, kind of power of creation.
Wait, Melnar does that?
Iluvatar does.
Oh, okay.
Consider him like, oh my gosh, again with a cowboy, like lasso and then like throwing it.
Nice.
And that makes up the heart of the world. So flame is at like the core of everything. And then he tells them, anyone can go down to the party that this new world is. But I'm calling this new world Ea. So we have Ea and Arda. And I call it Earth. Same world. You'll notice this, is that Tolkien loves words and he loves cool names. And what I think he did, and someone can like look up this later, is he loved different roots of words. So like Ea might be like the Norse version of like world, and Arda would be like the Celtic version of world. He just loved, I don't know if that's an actual fact, but like he just loves using multiple words for the same thing.
I mean, why not?
Why not? He can do what he wants. So some of the Ainur wanted to stay up in what I will call heaven, or Asgard as we're calling it now, with Iluvatar. But some of them wanted to go down to the world, to Arda, Ea, whatever. But Iluvatar made them agree, okay, if you're going down there, you have to stay there until the end. And you have to use your powers to make it. And you have to help the children, the elves and the men. And these guys that decided to go down, again, names for everything, are hence called the Valar, the powers of the world.
Cool.
Yeah.
Side thought.
Yes.
Did you ever watch The Eternals?
No, I'm sad. I'm bad.
It's on Disney Plus. Anyway,
Right.
this is giving very much Eternals kind of storyline. That part specifically of having to go to the Earth to like, okay, if you're gonna go there, you have a job. Tell me what you think. Anyway, okay, keep going.
Okay. We have Iluvatar and some of the Ainur up in heaven.
Asgard.
And then all the Ainur who went down to Ea Arda Earth are now called the Valar.
Ea Arda Earth.
Ea Arda Earth. I like it. When the Valar all come down to Earth, they were surprised because it wasn't like the vision that they saw. You know, it's like they went to IKEA and expected to buy the finished product, but they didn't know that you actually have to go and find the box and put all the pieces together, and they have
And
to
you
assemble
lose the Allen wrench, and it's a big deal. And
the big deal.
cruise,
You know,
and
assembly was
Catch
required.
your husband on a Saturday. That's what I wanted to do.
So they have to assemble everything to get ready for the children of Iluvatar, the elves and men, to have a place to live. Start creating everything with their powers. You know, Manwe uses his air and wind, and Aule, you know, starts forming the earth. Olmo uses water somehow. However, Melkor just wants to mess everyone else's creations up. And he's just as known as, and he kindled great fires. I'm over here making fires.
I'm helping.
I'm helping. And then when everything was on fire, just the way Melkor wanted it, he was like, first of all, I love it. Second of all, I want it. And this shall be my own kingdom, and I will name it unto myself. Now, Modway, Aaron Wenguy, was apparently, this is going back to the theme thing. Apparently, he was the main instrument of Iluvatar's second theme. So when they were having the like song battle, he was like the main contender with Melkor's like song battle. So apparently, because of that, he was kind of designated as the main person to deal with Melkor in this instance.
The babysitter, role officer.
He's gonna get them in counseling. Like, he's the mediator.
Yeah.
So Monway, Aaron Wenguy, gathers some of the Ainur buddies, and he's like, you know, Melkor, you need to stop. You know, everything that everyone made, you can't have it. You know, you aren't the only one who made stuff here. And honestly, I don't think your fire should count since it basically messed up everyone else's creations. It's like a negative.
I really want him to be like, no. And then like pouts with like his arms crossed, like, no. My fire is great.
Oh, you were getting Melkor. Like, you were vibing because Melkor hears this and he goes off somewhere to pout. That's literally what I have next. You were getting him.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I know
you were a mom.
Energy.
This is totally
I know toddler energy.
Oh, totally toddler energy. Just you wait. So then the Ainur decide that they need to take some kind of form. You know, they're basically thoughts, consciousness.
Dragons.
Oh, no, not yet. So since they saw the vision and they saw what elves and men would look like, and they're so in love with these creatures, they want them, they love them. They want to make them feel more comfortable and they want to blend in with them. So they decide to look like them.
Oh, but cooler versions.
But cooler versions. Although they could change their form pretty much anytime they wanted to, or even be invisible.
Okay.
This is the form that they're doing for now.
Cool.
So everyone's putting finishing touches on their pretty bodies and their clothes, and they're making the earth all nice and green and garden-like. And toddler Melkor sees this, and he gets even more jealous. He decides to make form too, but because his insides are all dark and moody, his outside form takes on a dark and quote-unquote terrible form as well.
Oh no. It's going to be more grumpy if he just finally gets a body and it has like IBS and stuff.
That's why you treat
when
depression.
You're grumpy, you get internal IBS.
Okay? Yes. So Melkor starts taking after his dad, Iluvatar, and he wants to make this grand entrance. Quote, and he descended upon Arda, aka Earth, aka Ea, in power and majesty greater than any other Valar, as a mountain that wades in the sea and has its head above the clouds and is clad in ice and crowned with smoke and fire. And the light of the eyes of Melkor was like a flame that withers with heat and pierces with a deadly cold.
So he became a volcano?
But still a body.
Whoa.
We're going to go back to this Asgard analogy because I like it. He's the guy in Ragnarok, flame guy, destroys...
Surtur?
Yes, that guy. That guy with the flaming crown and everything. So that's what I imagine.
I think.
Like everyone else is looking nice and put together, and then all of a sudden he walks in like,
dude, this guy's metal AF, man.
Metal, bigger than everyone. Like he just totally overdid it. So with this possibly over the top entrance, Melkor begins the battle over Arda, Earth, Ea, in the most childish way possible. If the Valar made lands, Melkor destroyed them. Oh, you wanted a valley there? Melkor says, I don't think so. No valley there.
He's knocking over their block tower.
He is knocking over their block tower. Total toddler Melkor. But despite Melkor being a total jerk, the Earth did eventually get made. Very slowly, and with absolutely no help from Melkor, the Earth was finished and made. For now.
Yeah,
because it will change later.
Arda Ea Earth.
Arda Ea Earth. And that is the first section.
Hey, you know what? I understood that.
Yay!
I kept notes of their names. I probably spelled them horribly.
So did Tolkien.
He was just guessing at this point.
Yes.
Huh. You know, it's giving a lot of like the Christian creation story a little bit, and it's also giving like Norse things of how the world was made and how it depend on water, and water is sacred to them in a way of like giving life and things like that. And it's, you know, it's funny as a parent, it's easier to understand thought processes of like what they're thinking and stuff. It's like, oh man, that guy's so annoying, or he's such a jerk. Quit knocking down my block tower. Or like, if I'm not happy, no one's gonna be happy, kind of situation.
And you know what? I feel like Iluvatar needed to like sit down and talk to him.
Wanna go play catch, buddy? Are you struggling in school? Is there a bully? What's going on, bud?
What is
Talk this out.
I don't want to get religious with this because that's not what it's about. But where was mom?
Right? Maybe that's the reason. Maybe he's a little bummed because it wasn't.
And most of the creation stories of the world, there isn't always mom.
We are the silent behind the scenes making everything work.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited for learning more. Like I said before, I know of the book. I know this book exists. I have never cracked cover of this book. So when you started, I was like, okay, I might know where this is going. No.
Nope. Like when you were talking about the songs and the music being passed down, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what he did there.
I mean, maybe that was like a jumping off point.
Sure. Believe it or not, that whole thing was only like 10 pages.
What? How long is the book altogether?
He has freaking appendices and like indexes in the back.
Maps.
Of course he does. Maps. Family trees.
He should have pronunciation guides.
Oh, he should have. But 366 pages.
He's playing the long game and is laughing at us now.
Like, I was like, you guys figure it out.
You see that? You see that letter there? Don't even pronounce it. It's silent. You dummy.
It's silent. Germs.
This is exciting.
Okay, so not too boring.
It's enticing enough for like, I'm excited to learn more. And plus, you're holding my toddler attention.
Okay, good. That was my goal. That was my goal. I didn't want to just like be rambling and be like off in the weeds and talking to myself because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. You know, I tried explaining this to my mom before I wrote everything down and kind of like gave myself talking points, and I told it terribly, and she was so confused. I'm like, maybe
Wait,
I should like write this down.
the man is a mountain now?
Yeah. Her first thing was like, wait, are they like playing instruments or like are they songs? Are they like different words to those songs? We were stuck on the songs for a while.
Well, you explained it beautifully and I got it. I understand.
Thank you.
I might not be able to pronounce their names. Plus, with my plugged nose and my great sinuses, I might sound awful anyway if I tried to pronounce their names.
Maybe it gave you a cool cold voice like with Phoebe.
Yeah.
Eru and Melkor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for learning more. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next episode is the Valaquenta.
Ooh.
And what's funny is when I first started reading it, it says, account of the Valar and Maiar according to the lore of the Eldar. I'm like, wait, are we learning the same story but just from a different viewpoint? Dang it. No. It does that for like a little bit and then it goes off in different things. But I was like, but why? Why did we need to learn it from a different... We got it. We got the story.
Tolkien's like, I don't think you did. I'm going to shove it down your throat again. You'll learn.
Next, we're learning all of the characters.
Ooh, it's time for the board with the yarn.
Yes.
Okay.
And the pronunciations, I'm just going with what's in my brain. I mean, I look up some of them, but some of them I'm just like, my mouth won't make that noise.
Like I said, I have not read it, so you are the correct version for me. So.
Oh, thank y'all.
Well, this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast, where my beautiful, beautiful cousin is helping learn about the Silmarillion. Did I say it right?
Nailed it.
We are going to go through this literature from Tolkien and kind of break it down for everybody and have a more fun time with it instead of being bored and falling asleep and not understanding anything. So I feel like this was a very successful first episode.
Yay!
Good job.
Thank you.
Gold star.
Gold star. I love my gold star. Do I get a cookie now? Do I get a lembas?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I don't know how often we're going to do this. Hopefully it's often enough where I keep the story fresh in my brain and I understand what's happening.
Well, I will start working on the next one tonight.
Ooh.
So we'll see how far I get.
You could talk it over with Lizzie, your 4-year-old, and be like,
oh, I will.
From what we've learned so far.
Are you with me so far?
Well,
she will help with the yarn.
Yeah. She's like, ooh, yarn. Well, until next time. I feel like we need an ending. I think it would be, okay, personally, I think it would be really cool is at the end of each episode, we find a new elven word to learn.
Oh.
I think that'd be cool.
I'm like, do I have something off the cuff? I don't. Or I'll give you a Tolkien fact.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that Tolkien was born in Africa?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Huh. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, it was fun hanging out with you.
You too.
I'm Abby.
I'm Ashley.
And this is the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.